Coming up on UCF Nightly News, a student faces deportation after losing his visa and buying guns. Learn what police describe as the disturbing behavior.
Plus, hear from the roommate who called police. Find out why he felt unsafe for months.
And UCF students are moving forward after the March for Our Lives. See how two groups are helping students make this change.
In sports, Pro Day was yesterday. Watch UCF football players show off their skills.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Jane Kim.
And I'm Carla Rodriguez. Today is Friday, March 30th, 2018.
We have breaking news this afternoon. Jurors reached a verdict on the Noor Salman trial.
Salman is the wife of Pulse nightclub shooter Omar Mateen.
Reporter Sophia Mercedes joins us live now from Pulse nightclub. Sophia, what did the jurors decide and how are people reacting?
Thanks, Jane and Carla. We're here live outside of the Pulse nightclub. Today was the third day of jury deliberations for the wife of the Pulse nightclub shooter, Noor Salman. Salman was being charged for obstruction of justice and providing materials to a terrorist organization. The jury found her not guilty on both charges. After the verdict, people from the community lined the sidewalks outside of the nightclub. The signs they held read, "We will not let hate win." Protester Sylvia Nelson says there were too many unknowns in this case.
Do we really have enough evidence to convict this person? Do we really have the tangible evidence that will prove that she really not? Because without tangible evidence, doesn't matter how we feel, it's just not there.
Salman is expected to be released later today. That's all I have for right now. Please stay updated with us on this story through our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll have the latest, but that's all I have for right now. Reporting live from Pulse nightclub, Sophia Mercedes. Back to you, Jane and Carla.
Thanks, Sophia. A UCF student is set to be deported back to China. Wenlian Sung lost his visa after missing class, and now police have his guns. Police say the student made, quote, unusual statements to a counselor from Global UCF. Sun also purchased 2 assault rifles, spent almost $70,000 on a new car, and changed his appearance. Police called the behavior concerning.
We look at patterns in behavior, and the patterns in the behavior here were very indicative of an individual that was in crisis. So that's why we took the action that we did.
Police worked with ATF and ICE. Sun bought his first gun legally, but it became illegal without his visa. At the briefing, police spoke about the importance of see something, say something.
Police also received reports about Sun from his roommate.
Nightly News reporter Natalia Hernandez tells us why Sun's behavior made his roommate feel unsafe. Natalia, he says he even moved out at one point.
That's right, Carlo. Wenlian Sun's roommate says the man's behavior at home was so scary that he stayed with a friend for a while. He says he was, quote, horrified.
Richard Blankenship is Wenlian Sun's former roommate. He says they lived together for about 7 months, and that Sun's behavior was erratic once he started buying guns.
I saw a bullet in the chamber, magazine loaded and everything, and he showed it to us with the barrel pointed at the apartment behind us. And he's like, look at the cool new gun I just bought. And my girlfriend and I were horrified.
We also got in touch with a former classmate through Facebook who asked to remain anonymous. She says, he was friendly actually, just a little bit weird, and went on to say, I don't know what happened to him, but I'm pretty sure he used to be a good kid. Blankenship says when Sun received a notice about his guns, he asked for help.
He's like, hey, so I just got an email from the office saying I need to get rid of these guns. Can you help me hide them?
UCF Police Chief Richard Berry says, see something, say something, worked in this situation.
I go back to see something, say something. We were able to identify where he lived. We asked the Orange County Sheriff's Office to go by and do a brief check.
But Blankenship says he didn't feel safe in his own home for months. After calling the police, he says they didn't help much at first.
All right, yeah, cool, thanks for nothing, guys. You know, see something, say something. Didn't really mean a whole lot at the time.
Officials made Son move out in February. Blankenship says he finally feels comfortable in his own home.
Officials say Son is detained in a federal facility pending deportation to China. The ICE database shows he is at the Baker County Detention Center in North Florida. Once deported, he would not be allowed back to the U.S. for 10 years. This is the second case of its kind in recent weeks.
Thanks, Natalia. UCF PD took action against another UCF student earlier this month. Police say Christian Velasquez was a threat.
Reporter Alexandria Bozarjian joins us to talk about these two cases. Alex, what makes these cases unique?
Well, Jane and Carla, they both involve guns in what police call alarming behavior. Just last week, police told us Christian Velasquez was brought in for questioning because of comments he posted on Reddit. Wen Ling's son never made any comments or threats like that, but unlike Velasquez, he bought two guns. In Velasquez's case, his dad turned over his own gun.
Attorney Kendra Paris wants the risk protection order against Christian Velasquez dismissed. The Orlando Police Department petitioned for the order to bar Velasquez from using and buying guns. By doing that, they were applying a brand new law. But just weeks prior, UCF Police Chief Richard Berry says the same protection order couldn't be used against Wei Ling's son.
That protection order wasn't law yet. We did not have that capability. That's why our federal partners came to our aid, because we didn't have the lawful authority to do that. Now, thank goodness, we can do something with these cases.
Son purchased his first gun legally, but the second purchase was illegal after he started skipping class. The absences violates his F1 visa and allowed police to go after him. Police called his behavior disturbing, although he didn't make any threats. Derek Daniels, a UCF Gun Club member, is skeptical.
And everything that was listed sounds either like a normal college student or the American dream. You know, buying guns, getting fast cars. He obviously had a lot of money.
Other UCF students are glad UCF PD is stepping in.
I mean, it's horrifying because, you know, it's like, especially with like the Douglas shooting and all that stuff, it's been really, it's like this dark cloud that's just kind of been looming over like just students everywhere, I feel.
Police say Velasquez's comments like, quote, Cruz is a hero, made him a threat. In Son's case, his purchases of two guns, changes in weight and hair color were the main causes of concern.
We know that in today's world, a person in distress that owns a high-powered firearm, we just cannot ignore that.
Velasquez's attorney says she will fight to protect his privacy and restore his rights. He has a hearing Monday morning. Officials say Son has an immigration attorney as he awaits deportation.
Thanks for those details, Alex. A group of UCF medical students are taking a stand against gun violence. UCF medical student Taimur Khan watched in horror with the rest of America as violence hit his alma mater. Taking action, he and his classmates organized White Coats Against Gun Violence to advocate for gun violence research. The Dickey Amendment of 1996 bans gun violence research from the Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention. These medical students say this is a huge roadblock to getting a scientific look at the problem and coming up with solutions.
Researching them to just understand the effect they have on suicide rates in a household or on violence rates in different areas of the country would be really beneficial to guiding care. And I think it's really unfortunate that archaic laws and the architecture of these laws and the lobbying industry has prevented us from looking at these things that are in a way that is, you know, would help us optimize the industry.
Advocate for research funding and a national database of firearm incidents so people can know where and why it's happening. The banner signed by 40 students represents their commitment to speaking out about gun violence.
Students in a group called Never Again UCF, who planned the Orlando March for Our Lives rally, say they are not done making their voices heard. The group says they will keep fighting until they get stricter gun control laws. Reporter Khalil Maycock spoke with a member of the team to see how they plan to keep their movement going.
It's not over. It's nowhere close to being over.
That's what Allie Justice said when asked if her group is done fighting for stricter gun laws. Justice is a member of Never Again UCF, the group involved in the planning of March for Our Lives Orlando. Justice says the group has no plans of going away and is applying to be a registered student organization. She also says they are having a town hall on April 7th for elected officials.
We need to keep the dialogue going, because if we don't, the conversation's going to stop and the whole movement's going to stop and nothing's going to change.
UCF had its own gun scare a few years ago in Tower 1, but the gunman committed suicide before he could carry out his plans. Also pushing for a change is Campus Peace Action. Now CPA wants students to vote in the 2018 midterm election. Dennis Diaz, a member in Campus Peace Action, says students need to use their voices.
If you're not going to engage with the actual the legal avenues you have to create change, then you're not really, doing your due diligence.
Professor Aubrey Jewett says it's great that the voices of students in Parkland were heard. He says the gun control legislation passed on March 9th was significant. However, Jewett says it might be more difficult to pass stricter gun control laws on a national level.
It's going to be more difficult. Republicans are in charge of the Congress, plus there are some Democrats who are more conservative.
But to Justice, if a gunman walked in a room, they wouldn't walk in and shoot based on politics.
They shoot anybody.
And she says this is why Never Again UCF will continue to fight for stricter gun laws. Reporting in Orlando, Khalil Maycock, UCF Nightly News.
2 days after Never Again UCF's town hall, UCF PD plans to hold one of their own. This town hall will take place on April 9th. It comes after UCF students Christian Velasquez and Wenling's son have to turn over their guns.
The man accused of sexual battery against 4 women on UCF's campus now has a warrant out for his arrest. Abdullah Zaman did not appear for his arraignment on Tuesday morning. The judge then issued a warrant for his arrest. Nightly News was there at the Orange County Jail when Zaman bonded out on February 3rd. He received a $2,000 bail loan from Allegheny Casualty Company to pay his bond. By not showing up to court, his bond was forfeited. Allegheny Casualty Company is actively looking for him.
Coming up after the break, a state board approves UCF's next president. See what the next steps are for Dale Whitaker.
Plus, UCF has a new tradition. See how much money the first annual Day of Giving raised.
After that, a professor at UCF is studying homelessness in college students. See how one homeless student is working toward her degree.
My son lives with his girlfriend and her parents. My my daughter Andy, she lives with.
Dale Whitaker is confirmed as UCF's next president. The Florida Board of Governors voted unanimously in his favor at the meeting which took place at the University of North Florida. The UCF Board of Trustees chose Whitaker for the presidency on March 9th. President John C. Hitt will be working with Whitaker before the transition. This meeting was the last stop on Whitaker's way to being president-elect. He replaces President Hitt as president on July 1st.
"24 hours, more than 1,000 donors, one goal." UCF students, faculty, and alumni donated through the power of philanthropy. UCF community raised over $150,000 in donations during the UCF Day of Giving campaign. Students, faculty, and alumni had the option to donate to the area of their choice. Donations, challenges, and incentives helped gifts go even further. The campaign ended last night, but you can still make a gift to support what you love by visiting www.ucffoundation.org/dayofgiving.
UCF faculty members are conducting research to learn more about homeless college students. This is the first step in finding solutions to help this community. Reporter Christina Diaz spoke with one student about where she lives and what she hopes to do in the future.
These are my UCF stickers, which I'm really proud of.
Dawn Livermore isn't a traditional UCF student. She lives in a tent in the woods of Apopka.
You do what you have to do. So although it might not be, the ideal situation for everybody, and it's not for everybody, I think that you learn as you go.
She's been living in the same space for 3 years and is not the only UCF student without a home.
Whenever I tell people I study homelessness among college students, their first response was, "Oh my gosh, I never thought about homeless college students."
Amy Donnelly is a sociology professor at UCF who is researching homeless students on campus. But Donnelly says it's difficult to determine how many students are actually homeless.
A lot of stigma associated with homelessness, and yes, mental illness is prevalent among homeless people, so is substance abuse. That does not mean that every homeless person is dealing with those issues, particularly among the college population.
Donnelly says many of these students are not reaching out for help, something that Livermore sees as a problem in the community.
You have to want help, and most people don't. They don't want help.
Livermore is doing whatever it takes to get a house of her own so that she can support her 5 kids, all adults now, but never too old for their mom.
If they need a place to go to, I want to be able to have a place for them to go to. I think that's important that you take care of your kids.
Once Livermore receives her degree, she hopes to one day be called professor. Reporting in Orlando, Christina Diaz, UCF Nightly News.
Livermore will graduate with her associate's degree from Valencia on May 6th. She hopes to finish her bachelor's degree at UCF by 2020. If you're looking for resources for homeless students, you can visit UCF Student Care Services located in Farrell Commons.
Coming up after the break,
we go outside to Maya with the weather.
We've had some pretty nice weather these past few days. Maya, is this weather going to stick around, or are we in for some rainstorms? Thanks, Maya. Coming up, find out how UCF football team is preparing their players for the NFL.
Good afternoon, UCF Knights. I'm Princess Jeanne Steverson Lowry, and here's a quick look at what's making news with UCF Athletics. The Knights softball team is on a 5-game winning streak. The ladies defeated the Houston Cougars last night 3-0. Pitcher Aaliyah White was key to the win as she scored her 17th win and 16th shutout of the season. The Knights will play the Cougars again tonight in Texas in hopes of winning a series. The first pitch is set to rip off at 7 p.m. The ladies will play the Cougars again Saturday in Houston at 1. If the Knights win the series this weekend, it will be their second sweep of the season. Yesterday, the Knights showed out like no other for the university's 2018 Pro Day. The day started out with measurements and weights and ended in jaw-dropping reactions from over 70 scouts. The Nightly News went to the Pro Day to get exclusive footage just for you.
Is a job fair for future NFL players, a time for the NCAA to allow NFL scouts the opportunity to visit schools and watch players partake in the NFL Combine. Likely to be one tight end Jordan Akins says they really want to see speed and credits UCF for his talent.
Frost did a great job of coming in and putting people in the right position. You know, he made some position transitions. He transferred me from the wide receiver to tight end.
Big boys Aaron Evans, Jamize Pittman, Josh Odeji, and Tony Garrard were among 20 other players looking to shine. And linebacker Shaquem Griffin did just that after competing in the Combine, repping 20 on 225 pounds. Griffin explains what this moment feels like.
It's an amazing feeling, and to leave off on a good note. I mean, every team want to leave off undefeated, but just everybody can't. That's why you had to be at UCF to be able to do it. So that's why I'm glad I was here to be able to accomplish that and win national championship.
Pro Day was a race to the finish line.
In today's UCF Pro Day, we had current and past players competing for their chance to be in the NFL draft. There were over 60 media outlets here, and all 32 teams in the NFL had someone in attendance.
The Knights gave it their all, including wide receiver Traquan Smith, whose goal is to be an outside rusher. Smith says he and the boys work hard like everybody else.
You know, it's just about giving UCF recognition. You know, the players here, you know, we just like any other university, you know, we put the hard work in, so we deserve, you know, the recognition.
Pro Day for the Knights lasted a little over 4 hours in the UCF Nicholson Fieldhouse. The Knights are currently experiencing interest from the Chiefs, Jaguars, Buccaneers, Titans, Packers, Raiders, Seahawks, Saints, LA Chargers, and Detroit. Reporting in Orlando, Princess Jeanne Steverson Lowry, UCF Nightly News.
If you'd like to keep up, stay tuned for more coverage as it comes in. The NFL Draft will take place starting on Thursday, April 26th, and end on Saturday, April 28th. Well, Knight fans, that's all the time we have for now. Stay tuned for more sports coverage as it comes in. Back to you, Jane and Carla.
That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. You can always keep up with us during the week on our website, nightlynews.ucf.edu.
And if you've got a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynews@ucf.edu. Thanks for watching and have a good day.